Hi.
Hi, are you sure you can prepare for product based companies through this course?
Yes, sitting at home?
No way!
Yes, way. Don't delay. Enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. My name is Muskan Agarwal, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have Sharath with us, who is a software engineer at Google, and today he is going to discuss with us that what it takes to become a Noogler. Because I know a lot of students like me have this dream of working at Google. So he will share his journey with us, and he will tell us, what does it take to become a Googler or a Noogler. So yes, before I add him to the stream, even I am very excited for this webinar. So just let me know in the comment section if I'm perfectly visible and audible. I do not want any network glitches in this particular webinar. Just give me a thumbs up if I'm perfectly visible and audible, then I will quickly add my guest to the stream. Yes, I am audible, so I'll add. Hello Sharath, how are you doing?
Hey Muskan, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you so much for doing this. Also, guys, if you do not know, like it is 5:30 a.m. in his time zone, so really appreciate the efforts and do not, miss this opportunity. Ask whatever questions you have, guys. Right. So, yes. So
Sure.
let us start with having a quick introduction about you.
Yeah, sure. I'm Sharath. I'm from India. I recently moved to US to pursue my master's. Then I joined Audible, Amazon-based company for a few months, and then moved here to Google. Before that, back in India, I worked at ACP Labs, and I was a software developer there. And before that, I did my undergrad in PES, and yeah, then I did my master's at NCSU and schooling everything back in Bangalore. And so yeah, that's quick introduction about myself.
Yeah. Also, Sharath, I would like to know a bit about your coding journey. Like, how was you introduced to coding? How did you know that, this is something that interests you?
Coding I just started maybe in my 11th grade.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had. We have like a elective course or something like that with the physics, chemistry, and math. So computer science was my extra subject, and then yeah, it started there. I learned C, C++ there. And then after that, when I joined undergrad, I just saw this great avenue, like where you can, yeah, learn a lot of things and solve lots of problems. So, the journey started there, and yeah, it's still continuing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is really great. Also, I would like to ask, since you are a software engineer at Google, what is a workday at Google looks like? Like, do you have flexible work hours? What do you guys do basically?
A workday, it typically looks like any other company, and it has lots of meetings with other peers and like planning discussions and like preparing design docs and working on how the architecture looks like, and then coding it out over the week and things like that. So yeah, it's a fair share of meetings and like a fair share of like development and work. So yeah, it's like any other usual tech company. Yeah.
And for now, everything is virtual or you're working from office?
For now, it's virtual, but yeah, Google is very keen on getting back to office, so
Hmm.
we'll be moving back to office soon.
That is really great because I don't know if you like work from home or not, but many people like work from home, but I personally do not like it at all. It is like so boring.
Yeah, even personally, I would choose to go back to office, and because you get to meet a lot of people, and staying back at home, you're just confined to four walls, and
Right.
it just kills the day. So yeah, I second that statement. Yeah.
Right. Also, I know a lot because since I'm also a third year student, so me as well as a lot of students have this dream of working at Google. So I want to ask, like, what should a student do differently in order to become a Noogler?
Okay, differently. I mean, you just need to do a few things. I mean, so the things are, yeah, basically build a overall really good profile. You be an engineer rather than being a programmer or like maybe a developer. So the difference is very simple and easy. A engineer is one who solves problem. A developer is one who builds like the problem. So start thinking in engineering terms of mind. Start solving lots and lots of problems. I personally believe that any learning is really the pace is really increased when you solve a problem with that technology or tool, or maybe if you're learning something, if you tag along a problem with that and just add that problem to the learning, it just makes it, I mean, at the end of the day, you're building something which makes uh, I mean, even though it's cliched, like the planet a better place to stay, but yeah, also it helps you learn, and it just builds your overall profile. So yeah, simple tips would be like, I mean, just think of any day-to-day problem which you have, work on that, and then read a lot. That's one more key thing. Start reading lots of journals, research works, and things like that. That helps you. Open source is like a really nice place to contribute. It helps to understand what's going around in the world, and it also helps you to understand like the technology or tool which you're learning. And then again, it's a really great avenue to contribute and learn. um, Specifically to Google, yeah, they look at your overall profile, how well you have done. Like it's not only programming, or it's not only you've been like really good at I mean your education, or like you have like great GPA and things like that. It's just a complete overall profile. So start working on that, and I think you'll get through.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've seen that, that Google Pay is a very important, like if you're participating in hackathons or extracurricular activities, and that plays a very important role in resume selection for Google. Like I've personally, applied at many places and I've seen this. Yes. I wanted to ask that many people get selected in online assessments and they're able to clear it, but they're not able to clear the interview rounds at Google. So what will be your suggestion for students who are planning to appear for interviews at Google? Some tips you have for them.
Simple tips would be a really important tip is like to have your I mean, if you're applying for a software job, have your computer science fundamentals very strong. It's you build on fundamentals. I built on my fundamentals. So if your fundamentals are strong, and if you have your concepts clear in your mind, you can learn anything new, and you can augment it with new learnings. But if your fundamentals is not strong, and if you're just weak there, then the complete foundational basement is weak, and then the building itself is not so strong. I mean, uh, um, yeah, keep your computer science fundamentals strong, then practice competitive programming, and there are lots of avenues. Competitive programming has become easy to access nowadays. At least last few years, it's just become lot simpler, and you can start, you can easily get hold of any platform, and you can start working on competitive programming.
Mm,
uh, Algorithmics is really important. Understanding where to use it, like how efficiently you solve it, how efficiently you build solutions. Because the more the efficient the solution is, like, yeah, that's how they look at it. Like I mean, as an engineer, they would evaluate on how efficiently you solve a problem. And it's more of, again, it's not about how well you code, how well you use like the language. It's more about how well you solve the problem. I don't remember even if one of my Google interviews, they compile the code and they check if the output was right. Like they just saw how I think, they just saw
yeah.
how I speak out the problem which I'm trying to solve. And yeah, simple interview tips: talk it out loud when you're sharing a solution or something like that, because the interviewer would know that, okay, this is the approach you are taking, and if there is something which he can help or something, they would definitely do it. And that that just kind of stops you from going in the wrong direction and things like that. Second thing would be simple, yeah, have like solve the competitive programming problems, and like try to get the efficient solutions. And that is really important, because if you are not able to get the efficient solutions, then they might think that, okay, you're not solving the problem right, or something like that. So that's also key. Apart from that, have like an open mind, don't have any expectations, and go with a very clear and open mind, so that like it just the expectation, because Google has built such a big brand that, okay, whenever you're giving an interview, you feel that, oh, I mean, you shouldn't feel intimidated. You should feel that, okay, I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to get this. It's not something out of my reach. So I really recommend that to my like whoever aspires to be in Google, because many fall prey for that, and that's kind of like one of the important hurdle which everyone should go across here.
Right. And like, what if I'm not able to solve a question? Suppose like you're an interviewer and you give me some particular question and I've never seen it before. Then what should I do?
Again, just approach the problem, try to break it apart into pieces. I try to I mean, I personally try to map problems into patterns. So if you look at competitive programming or like algorithmics on a whole, it falls under like maybe 15 to 20 categories, which across all the different patterns. And then okay, once I find out the pattern, it is just using those concepts and maybe adding one or two more extra things on top of that, and then getting to the solution. So if you're able to map the proper right algorithmic problems to the right approach, or like maybe the right things which you need to solve the problem, then it's simple. It's cakewalk. So it's not going to be like pretty tough. So if you're not able to solve the problem, again, don't get bogged down, or like don't think, okay, oh my god, this is done and I've lost the interview. Just talk it out to the interviewer, like as talk out the approach, think out loud, and even though you don't get to the solution, if you're able to get even like 70-80% into like from the start, that's like a good progress. And you need not like ace in all the interviews. Even if one goes fine, and if you're done good in the remaining ones, you're absolutely fine. So it's just like like the whole overall picture or something like that. So yeah, yeah, again, don't stop in between. Even though you don't know the problem, approach it, talk it out loud, and like at least explain what your the thought process is, and like what you're thinking, and like how you're trying to solve this problem. So yeah.
Yeah, I think talking out loud, which you mentioned, is very important in an interview, right? Because, in my personal experience also, like the interviewer actually helps the students. Like if I'm going wrong, they tell you that, do this. And one more thing, suppose I do not know the question at all, I've tried it. So should I be honest and tell the interviewer to change the question, or we should not do that?
Uh, I don't know how to answer this, but I would personally say maybe give it a try, because it just gives you. I mean, it just shows giving up attitude or something like that.
Right.
You're just giving it up, right, and without even trying it or something like that. Again, trying and failing is much better than yeah, just backing out and like taking a different approach and being successful, or like maybe I personally feel that you should just maybe try it and just think about
Give
topics,
some.
yeah, at least which are related to that, and like maybe build something. And yeah, it's again, I personally feel trying and feeling is much better than yeah, backing out and yeah, taking a different route. Yeah,
I think it depends on the interviewer as well. Some people might take it in a positive way, some people might take it in a negative way.
yeah,
So yeah, it depends. And brute force approach, I think we can at least give that to the interviewer.
that's true. Yeah, at least you can say this is how we can solve it in a simple way, and then maybe like the more efficient solutions could maybe
Yeah.
follow this pattern, or like maybe we can use this structures and things like that. So yeah,
Also, I can see a lot of questions in the comment section. Maybe we can try taking some of them.
sure.
Yes. Then people are asking eligibility criteria, percentage is mandatory. I think they're asking that does the college CGPA matters while Google interviews?
I really don't think so. I don't know. I personally don't know how the background work happens with the interview process, at least with the GPA. But personally, I've seen a lot of not 4 GPAs or like maybe above 9 GPAs getting. I mean, it's really not. At least from whatever I've seen, I don't think it's really eligibility criteria for GPA. Yeah,
Doesn't matter, right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I've also seen, like, I have applied for quite a few internships. Like, I think the 6 or 7 CGPA, this CGPA, like, this is the minimum thing that for every company.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, they look at when Google is trying to shortlist resumes, they look at the overall profile rather than just looking at okay, GPA is good or bad. Yeah.
So, Sharath, also I wanted to ask, have you worked in India as well?
Yes, I have worked in that. Yes.
So, what are the differences? Do you think that US is better or India is better?
I wouldn't say, I mean, any one is better than other. Both of them, I mean, India is doing pretty great, and India's work culture has. So the thing is, like principles follow like down the org. So if you're working on like I worked at SAP, which is a German-based company, and the principle used to come from like the German principles and things like that. So India has like bright minds and we are at the end of the day we are trying to solve engineering based problems and we are building solutions for those and I mean personally I feel both of them are doing amazingly well and at least for software industry I really don't see much of a difference.
Hmm.
Again it's just bright minds working together and like building cool stuff, so yeah.
Yeah. And since like this new virtual phase is coming, so like I think it is going to change everything.
Yeah, that's true. Literally, I don't think I've met even one of my team member yet personally. So it's still yeah, it's so like that. Yeah.
Right. Uh, Freshers are, hey, any tips for DSA? Like, do you have any tips? Yeah.
Uh, Data structures and algorithms. So yeah, I personally feel there are lots of resources online. I don't stick to one resource. What I do is if I want to learn about a topic, I just go Google it out. Like okay, fine. If I want to learn about simple red black trees or maybe some linked lists or things like that, then I try to read as many articles as possible because it shows different perspectives on each of those topics. One person might think of one topic in a way and like another person might think it in a different way and like the use
Mm,
cases and like how we can build build using those data structures and algorithms again. Try to I personally feel again try to maybe solve a problem with those algorithms so that like your concepts get cleared and like you've just practiced along with it. So practice more DSA, I mean all these computer programming data structures. It's more about reading and practicing and it's not so much about how much you think, at least nowadays. Before it used to be like when the access like to all these lead code platforms have had was very less, and now it is more about practicing and like getting those concepts clear in your head and so yeah, practice and read lots and lots of online tutorials or maybe things which are available online, and yeah, I think that should be more than enough. Yes.
yeah, definitely, guys. So I hope it will help Ashutosh. Also, I was just taking this webinar on how does, how is DSA used in companies. So I think I will ask you as well that while working at Google, has DSA ever helped you or DSA or something like has any particular data structure you have implemented there?
Actually, I haven't. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe in the nuclear training, yeah, very few. The thing is, like, yeah, even I have this doubt. Like, so in interviews, we are asked about all these complex trees and like things like that, and we never end up using those things. Yeah, it's a very fair question to ask. But the point is, like, yeah, definitely there are some use cases when you might have, you might end up using queues, or maybe like work on, like, at least even like a simple error log. It's a stack. So I mean, how the error log in the background is built is like using a stack and things like that. So definitely it will be useful. So it's not that the things which you learn you're not using it in your company. Yeah, I seldom see like all the complex data structures being used, but apart from that, I think the whatever like the like these, I wouldn't call it like not so complex things, but at least like the smaller pop or like the easiest ones, we just use it in our
Right.
everyday like yeah.
Yeah, obviously you will not be reversing a linked list anywhere, but you will be using the logic somewhere maybe, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, people say that, how is reversing a linked list? It has never helped me in my life. So why are we asked?
And that's true. Even I had that question. Like I had like lots of debates with my friends, but a simple answer to that question is, uh, companies don't have like a better way to shortlist or like or like maybe to select candidates apart from like algorithmic problems. Because if they'll start looking at like maybe a lot of domain specific knowledge, everyone can't learn everything, and like this is like a common avenue, and it's easily they can easily judge, not judge you, but maybe uh rate you or something. I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, it's easy simpler in that way. Yeah,
Yeah, because supposedly a company is coming to my college, they are hiring for SD roles, not for app dev or mobile dev. You might be good in app dev, right? But not in web devs. What if they ask you questions? So they have to do a lot of work. Suppose there are so many students. So like, it will be really tough for the company. So they have to come down to one common ground, I think, and that is where DSA comes.
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, even I see a lot of debate in so many students. Like the Twitter community is full of these debates. Like, why is DSA used?
That's very true. Like, yeah, I've had these debates, and like, there is no right answer for it. But yeah,
Right.
or whatever the closest we think why companies do it. And the thing is, like, if it was not the right way, they would have, and they would have backed it out, or like they would have thought, okay, this is not working, and they would have
Yeah.
maybe taken a different approach. And like whatever these interview process, it's working charm for them. So I think it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, because eventually, like they're hiring students for their company, right? So if it was something bad, then they would have changed. But
That's true.
yeah. Then people are asking link for applying to Google. I think Google have a career portal.
Career
You can apply
portals.
from there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, and eligibility criteria and everything. Like it is mentioned under every job, I think.
yes. There's descriptions which you might have to, which I would recommend you to go through, because people just apply for jobs which may not be relevant for them. And yeah, if you have like a dream job which you want, just try to build your profile around that, and like maybe work on projects, and yeah, have like an overall profile around that. Yeah.
Right. So then people are asking that is computer science fundamentals also important while cracking interviews at Google?
Computer science fundamentals. Yeah, definitely it is important.
Yeah.
It's like the key to crack any interviews, not only Google interview, because most of the companies don't look at like, yeah, they do ask system design problems, and having all the design patterns strong and things like that. But again, I personally believe that. Um, you have your computer science fundamentals strong, you'll be able to build the remaining things above on top of it very easily. So yeah, just keep your fundamentals strong. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Aishwarya has asked that how did you land up at Google and abroad? Like, did you pursue any degree or you applied directly?
Oh yeah, I did my master's here at NC State, NCSU, and yeah, I just applied after my master's, and then I just got this opportunity. Yes, I did pursue my master's, and then after that, I applied for this job.
Right. Great. Then people are asking, is competitive coding necessary for cracking interviews at Google?
Yes. Okay. Again, it depends on the job profile. If you're looking for like some project management roles, or like maybe some other DB based roles, or maybe any other, or like maybe infrastructure based roles or something like that. But yeah, still there will be fair share of competitive programming, I feel.
Right.
Yeah, the thing is, like, again, the best way to approach this is like, look for job profile, and if once you build the profile, and you get an interview call, the recruiter would be able to exactly tell you, okay, this is how your interview process is going to be, and this is what they're going to ask. The recruiters are very friendly, and like you can ask any questions to them, and this is how usually like the interview process goes about.
Right. Then people are asking, does does college play importance while Google is selecting the students? Suppose like I'm from tier one college or tier two, three, that
Mhm.
place.
I personally don't feel so. Google hires from like different sort of college. They don't have like a specific college. Like they don't always go to IITs or like NITs or something like that. And then they don't have like I think they did have like campus drives long back ago, but now I think it's reduced and like they're just everything is online and
Hmm.
everything has gone. Off campus. Yeah, college doesn't really matter, but again, it doesn't mean that if you're in like top tier colleges, doesn't mean that okay, it's like a disadvantageous thing for you. Obviously, it provides you ample of opportunities and ample amount of uh, chances to get into big companies. But yeah, college definitely doesn't matter.
Also, Google, have this so many offline contests. Like everybody can apply. I think there is no restriction of college or anything.
That's true.
So you can try participating in those as well.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
Hash code happened recently. I think most of you guys would have participated. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, yes, they do. Also, I wanted to ask, like, what is the tech stack at Google that you work on, or like, if you can tell us a bit about, like, what are you working on currently in Google?
So I'm working with the Google Voice team. I can't deep dive,
Huh.
dive much into the details on what
Yeah.
I'll be working, but yeah, the tech stack is C++, and it's more on the communications layer, and yeah, I'm working with the Google Voice team. So yeah, tech stack C++, and I'm working on the API layer, so there is no front end and back end, so it's more just C++. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Then people are asking, should we look for a solution? Like, suppose I'm solving some DSA problem and I'm not able to solve it. So, is looking at the solution the right thing or wrong thing?
Definitely. So I feel that okay, if you're not able to solve a problem in the first 5 minutes, then you don't know to solve the problem. So, or like maybe you can think of a different. I mean, you can try to solve it, or like maybe you can think of different approaches, read about that and think. But if you're spending more than half an hour on a problem, and if you're still not able to get the a solution, then I would recommend learn it. Like try to read things around that, and at the end of the day, you're just getting better. It's not that okay, you just need to st- uh, always solve the problem on your own or like maybe get the solution learn and yeah maybe again there is like lots and lots of things which happen in like the discussions page and things like that on like different
Hmm.
platforms, so just go there, like think how see how people think differently and like try to understand what approach they might have taken to solve this problem. So once you're able to get all those how different thought process, you'll be able to map a new problem into those thought process. And I personally feel it's not very complex to map build those patterns and like then map these problems to those patterns. And yeah, it's more of again getting to know things and like again trying to apply. It's not more of yeah, I do agree intelligence plays a part role, but now it is more of practice and like it's more of like trying to get those data structures and algorithmic fundamentals strong and like building on top of that. Yeah,
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, watching at editorials is not a bad thing. You should do it instead of wasting time. Like, personally, even I have wasted 1 to 2 days as well. Running after a particular question, and then after 2 days, I have to look at the answer. So instead, you can try 3 to 4 questions.
yeah,
Right.
and the thing is like when you're preparing for interviews, time becomes like a critical thing, so you
Huh.
end up wasting, if you end up wasting too much time on like maybe a problem or two, that again at the end of the day just acts counterproductive rather than just being yeah, you could have learned a lot more things in those 2 days just than thinking like those problems. Yes.
Right. And some questions require some particular algorithm only. They can be solved in that particular way only. Now, if you do not know that way, you have to look at the answer and then only you get it.
That's true.
Right. Do you remember all syntax of C++ or languages, and which language question was asked to you?
Again, interviews are language agnostic, so you don't need to answer it in a specific language, at least for the competitive programming roles, or like in any, I feel like in most of the computer science roles. I mean, do I remember all the syntax of C++? Definitely not. I don't
Stack
think,
Overflow.
yeah, Stack Overflow, and like there's lots of online places where you can look for syntaxes, but yeah, at least you need to have like a coding proficiency, like a really good proficiency, where at least you don't look at simple syntaxes and simple things which you should have, like maybe when you're trying to import a library, or like maybe working on some complex data structures, like maybe concurrent hash maps, or like maybe some STL libraries or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, you can go around and look at that. I use Python for competitive programming because it reduces the number of lines of code, and it makes life simpler. And for lazy people like me, I feel Python is easier to use. And yeah, so I personally use Python for competitive programming. But yeah, again, you can use any language: Java, C++, Go, Python, any language of your choice to give interviews, and it's not a language specific.
Right, right. I think shifting to a language is easy. Like building concepts is difficult, but 1 week or 2 weeks you can shift on language.
Yeah, I mean, a language, I personally feel it's just a tool to solve a problem. It's never a skill. Problem solving is a skill which you need to learn, not tools and yeah, technologies.
Yeah, I 100% agree to this line. Like problem solving, you should learn problem solving, not particular language.
That's
Right.
true.
Then he has asked that do we need to do lead code? Like is lead code mandatory?
I mean, I wouldn't say mandatory, but yeah, it's recommended. Like Geeks for Geeks is good. Like there's lots and lots of online platforms. I
Right.
mean, I use Geek for Geeks and LeetCode and like other few other platforms. I mean, it's just again trying to solve different problems. Or I mean, whichever platform feels comfortable for you, go ahead and look at those. Again, I wouldn't promote anyone like saying, okay, this is better than this one, or like this
Mhm.
is the best. Uh, 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 Platform to use. But again, I would recommend, like, why not, like you have access to literally everything in this world. So Google's mission statement is like make data accessible for everyone, like in an easy and easy way. So yeah, so it's available for you. Why not try it out and like learn as much as possible? So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Also, there are so many resources. I think Google has its own course on data structures and algorithms. You can try that also. I think there are some 400 courses by Google itself for free.
Yeah, there's
So,
lots and lots of courses. There's Udacity, there's Coursera, there's like so many things which you can try out. Like it's like I mean, there is nothing, there's no limit for resources, at least now, like in this online days or like the internet days. I would personally say that try to explore as much as possible. Yeah,
right, and the best part is that most of the courses are free. Like most of the free, there are so many free resources for the student community, so you can access them easily.
that's true.
Then people are asking about projects. I think projects plays a very important role while for any company, right? So what kind of project should a student focus on during his college days?
Again, there's no right project, or like maybe I can't go and say like, okay, work on systems based project, or like work on data science based projects, or like maybe work on any programming project, or like web development project. So again, it's just working on things which you want to, or like again it again comes down to solving problems. When you're solving a problem, try to build those like projects which are like, or like the tech stack and like the solution specific to that problem, and like that helps you. Again, what kind of projects, I personally feel takes any day-to-day problem. I worked on silly problems. I worked on an app which used to wake me up like when I'm sleeping in my bus. So when I reach a location, it just wakes me up. So okay, fine, you're already here, wake up or something. I mean, it's like, think of simple problems, try to solve those, address those problems. I mean, because we face lots of problems in our day-to-day life, and try to address those problems, that's like the first step which we take towards towards this project-based profile. So there is like lots and lots of avenues. Open source is like a good platform. Maybe clone a repo and like start making changes to those lines of code, send in a pull request, maybe see if it gets added, and like that's like a really nice contribution to the open source. Working in, you can think of like how problems are solved differently. Those can be added to your profile, and yeah, there's no specific thing. Again, just try to solve a problem and build a project on top of that.
Sorry, I was mute. Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree to that. C++ projects. Like they're asking if any particularly C++ projects you can suggest.
C++ project. I don't know. I'm really not sure. Like, uh,
There are
maybe I.
so many, right?
Yeah, there are so many. I really don't know. I don't want to personally say. Just Google. Go to GitHub. Just search for C++ projects, or like projects which have
Right.
like C++ code, and then just research, because there's like lots of domains, and like I don't want to specifically say, okay, go and work on this kernel based project. Like maybe make changes to this Ubuntu driver or something like that. So it really doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's like lots of things. So you just maybe go to GitHub, search for C++ based projects, and like you'll get ample lots and lots of them.
And I think if you're making a personalized project, like you mentioned that you made a project on that, whenever the time is there, it wakes you up. I think that is very important. I've seen so many, the entire interview is around that project only. Like I've seen one of my friend, she made a really interesting project and totally different one. Her entire 1 hour interview was around that project. So
Yeah, if you, I mean, you can steer the interview in that direction. It's not that
yes,
always they'll be asking you about, okay, competitive programming. And if the interviewer is, again, the interviewer wants to know how you think and how well you know like the concept. So they can do it like using different approaches and avenues. And yeah, talking about projects and what you've done on that definitely helps them understand you better. Yeah.
definitely. Then some good projects for competitive programmers. I think again, like you can look, there are so many projects. You
Mhm.
can just go on GitHub and see. Yeah, and good projects on some particular domain. You've not mentioned the domain. There are so many domains. There's web dev, app dev, blockchain. What? Okay. Okay. So, what are the non-technical opportunities that are there at Google? If you can suggest.
Yeah, there is lots and lots of any company just doesn't run on only technical support. So yeah, there is accounting which requires people from commerce background. There is ML rules, which is again, okay, I would call little technical, but it's not like straightforward. Uh, Computer science, and like yeah, in one of the interviews Sundar Pichai also mentioned that it's better for math majors to become ML engineers rather than, and he would train them coding and uh, or like yeah, it's easy to train a mathematics background engineer to code rather than teaching them computer science background mathematics or like the ML algorithms or something like that. So yeah, there's lots and lots of mathematics roles and things like that. And there is definitely HR roles for MBA and project management. And then there's like, I mean, team lead roles, scrum masters, and things like that. There's lots and lots of opportunities. Usually, only the initial few years of your career you work on like all these software technical roles. After that, it's more of like the managerial roles and the scaffolding around that software engineer. So it's more of like this accounts, HR, and like there is all those other roles which are supporting to that. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, because I could see a lot of doubts like, what if I'm not an engineer and I want to go work at Google? So, yeah, there are so many non technical opportunities at Google as well, right?
Yeah, there's definitely. Yeah.
Yes. Then people are asking that having knowledge of system design plays a bonus role in Google rounds. And is system design even asked in initial rounds?
Personally, I haven't had experience like, at least I didn't. I had all of them have competitive programming and like one googliness round, and
Yeah.
system design. Yes, there might be interviews where they ask system design. It's not that it's not going to be I'm not going to say like no they don't ask, or like they're going to only ask system design or something like that. So it'll be like fair share of computer programming and system designs. And yeah, system design is again more of like how you think and like how you approach a problem, rather than if you're answering the right solution or like getting to the right answer. It's more of like how you think. So uh, again, for system design, I recommend different design patterns, and like we're looking at all the different how the architecture of different company works, like different open source architectures and things like that. So that helps you a lot. And understanding like the end to end of a product, like how unit tests are written, how integration tests are written. Like you usually only look at development as a thing, but these things are also critical, like how we think about the requirements, and like how, I mean, the complete SDLC process is very keen in that system design rule. So yeah, uh, personally, I just work on these architectures and like design patterns, and like understanding like the complete SDLC for system design rules. Yes.
Right. And I think, but for internships, it is not required. Like, if a student is looking for internships, there is no round. Like, maybe some basic questions are asked, but not.
Yeah, I don't think, yeah, they're not, I mean, like I haven't personally faced an interview for internships with system design roles, but again, I wouldn't shun it away, or like I wouldn't say like, okay, for internships it's not going to be there. Like maybe few companies might come up with system design rules and the system design problems for internships too. So yeah, uh, be aware of it. So
Right. Also, I can see a lot of repetitive questions. Guys, you can maybe check the webinar out again on YouTube. The recording would be there. One last question I would like to ask, that is job shifting like internally easier? Suppose I am there for one particular role, I'm not enjoying that role at Google. So can I shift my role internally?
yeah, definitely. It's. I mean, my manager suggested it's as simple as like simple raising a ticket and like up and getting that approach. So it's you just need to find the right match, and like the other team should also find the right match with you. So after that, it's not a very complex thing. Yeah, but usually people prefer to switch maybe. 2 3 years once or something like that, but it's not like, again, it's not like something which you have to do or like it's supposed to do. But if you really want to do it, like there is like lots and lots of opportunities and like lots and lots of avenue to do that.
Right. Okay. I think we've taken all the questions up. Thank you so much, Sharath, for doing this. I hope it helps a lot of students who, who are aiming to, become a software engineer at Google, or who have their dream company as Google. So, yes, thank you so much for doing
My
this.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Yes. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. I hope this webinar helps you, and I will see you in the next webinar. Bye bye.